Hello everybody, it's that time of year again. Mike Welch coming to you back at the paddock at Churchill Downs for another year of the Kentucky Derby Daily Racing Form Workout Report, brought to you by the good people at Spendthrift Farm, home of reigning champion General Sire Into Mischief, who has his best crop of 3-year-olds to date in 2025, including 3 top Derby contenders: Citizen Bull, Sovereignty, and Tappan Street. And Sovereignty and Tappan Street are a couple of horses I'm going to talk to you today in our first edition of the Kentucky Derby 2025 report. Picked a good day to arrive at Churchill Downs, as it was busy here this morning. We had 7 of the potential 20 Derby starters work here this morning within a 10-minute span. They have that Derby Oaks training session, 7:15 to 7:30. They moved it up a little bit this year, and everybody availed themselves of the opportunity to work during that period. There is some possibility of rain maybe coming in today and tomorrow, so perhaps some trainers who were going to schedule tomorrow moved it forward today. But they were all out there, and we're going to talk about all of them, as well as a couple of horses, Derby horses that I got to see work yesterday down in South Florida before I jumped on the plane and headed this way. And I'm going to start with one of the leading Derby contenders and the #1 star this morning, and that was Sovereignty, the Florida Derby runner-up, who worked 5 furlongs in kind of oddly orchestrated work for trainer Bill Mott. He broke off at the 5/8 pole in company with a stablemate. The stablemate worked a half mile and pulled up at the 8th pole, and that was by design. Nothing happened to the horse. It was by design. Allowed Sovereignty to go on by himself to finish, and he finished very well. He went 5/8 on my watch in 1:04, final quarter mile in 23 and change, galloped out in 13-1. And what's significant about it is Sovereignty traditionally is not a great workhorse. Going into the Florida Derby, did not impress anybody with his morning workouts. He was getting beat by a maiden mate a couple of times in the morning, but maybe the light bulb's gone on since his last couple of starts, and I thought he looked very good, especially for a horse that is not a big workhorse in the morning. So a good morning for Sovereignty. Burnham Square, another Florida winter-based horse, won the Holy Bull. He was out this morning, won a half mile. He went solo today, kind of like a maintenance work. He got very ranked, though, going to the pole. It looked like he was going to run off and work real fast, but he came to hand once he came away from the pole, got around the turn. He won a half mile in 49-4, and he also galloped out pretty well. As you would expect, a horse with his running style, it seemed distance is his friend. So the further he goes, the better he gets, and he did that this morning. He went out 5/8 in 1:02-3, eased up 3/4 in 1:15-3. A horse that showed surprising speed this morning, to me anyway, was Publisher for trainer Steve Asmussen. Now, he went in company with Tistastic. The two of them both potential Derby starters here, both kind of late running horses, but Publisher was full of run this morning. They broke off at the 5/8. I picked them up at the half. Like I said, it was so busy. There were so many horses working at the same time. I got them a little late, but he was flying. In fact, his rider, he opened up 3 lengths on Tistastic around the turn. Rider was looking back for his mate, and he kind of dominated the work the whole way. Tistastic never got to him, even though he was set down for his best. The Publisher was going pretty easily. I had them from the half in 46-4, 59-1 into the turn and easing up. Well, Publisher easing up in front in 12-4. So I thought it was a good morning for Publisher. Tistastic struggled a little bit trying to keep that fast pace early on for a horse that does like to do his best running from behind. East Avenue rarely disappoints in the morning, and today was no exception. He went in company, and he dominated his workmate, as you would figure. He won a half in 47-4. Was slightly in front at the wire, was hard held, and then he galloped out well clear, drew off 1:04, and out 3/4 in 14-3. He's obviously going to be one of the pace factors in this year's Derby. Brad Cox had a good day down in South Florida yesterday with Tappan Street. Had a good morning today, too, I thought, with Final Gambit. He worked in company with Coffee Talk. Looked like they might have broken off at the 4.5. I took him from the half-mile pole. Really doesn't matter either way as far as the final clocking goes. It was about the same, taking them out into the turn. I had Final Gambit in 48-2, broke off a little behind, had his head in front at the wire, and he galloped out well, 101-2, 6 furlongs in 14-3, going best of all inside his mate, Coffee Talk. Flying Mohawk had an interesting workout partner today. It was last year's Kentucky Derby 8th place finisher, his stablemate, Anna Marie. And they went around pretty much on even terms. They went quick early. I had them shading 35 for the opening 3/8. The track was quick this morning. You hear by some of these times that, of course, these are the better horses, but it was on the quick side today. I had them going 35 for the first 3/8, so 34 at 4, and then 59 and 3 to the wire. Pretty much on even terms, going pretty easily. So got to give Flying Mohawk credit for holding his own with an older mate like Anna Marie, and then galloped out in 1:13 and 3, just okay on the gallop out, nothing special there. So those were the 7 Derby workers who worked here today. We had a couple of Oaks horses early this morning. They were also trained by Whit Beckham, who has Flying Mohawk, and Anna Marie as well. And it was a quick work. It was Simply Joking with Drexel Hill, and they were flying. And Simply Joking looked terrific. She went 34 and 1 for the opening 3/8 under a guzzle hold from jockey Florent Giroux, and he really never set her down at any point. Went 5/8 and 58 and 2, was the best of the team by far, and then edge clear on the gallop out, 112 and 1. Haven't done a lot of work looking at the Oaks lineup yet, but I'm going to give Simply Joking another look now off of this work. I guess getting the distance will be the main question for her. Talk about yesterday down at in Florida. I got to do a lot of driving to see 2 potential Derby candidates work yesterday at Payson Park, Tappan Street for Brad Cox. Brad flew in for the work. Elliot Walden was there for the work. Working in anonymity there. There are about 5 or 6 of us there to watch possibly one of the top 3 betting prospects in this year's Kentucky Derby, Tappan Street, the Florida Derby winner who beat Sovereignty in the Florida Derby. And I thought he looked good. He walked away from the half-mile pole in company just under 14, and then really picked up the pace thereafter. I had his final 3/8 in 23 and 4, his final half into the turn in 48 and 2, and he kept going, galloped out very well. 6 furlongs in 14 and 4, 7/8 in 128 and 3. It's a little hard to judge times at Payson Park. The track's a little on the slow side, which makes it harder to judge workout times, but better for the horses. It gets them fitter and fitter. Brad Cox has had a terrific season with all the horses he had stabled at Payson Park. Won races not only in the U.S. but around the world. As we know, he won the Dubai World Cup as well. So I thought this was a very good move for Tappan Street. Got back in the car, drove 90 miles down to Gulfstream Park just in time to see Niakos, who finished 3rd in the Florida Derby behind Tappan Street at Sovereignty. He won 5/8 in 1 minute and 2/5. Struggled a little bit to get by his workmate, and they galloped out just fair, 14 and 1. And that's kind of him, too. He's not the best in workouts at the end. When he gets in front of another horse, he tends to pull himself up. But he's still on the outside looking in. He's going to need a little help to get into the Derby field. So that's the action down in Florida, the action here today. A lot of stuff going around all around the country. Dave Grenning, Steve Anderson, Brad Free, they're going to give you the reports from New York and Santa Anita. But everybody will be here by next weekend. I think all the horses have to be on the grounds before they draw the race, which will be next Saturday. And we're going to be on the grounds here for the next 2 weeks with the best coverage of Kentucky Derby 2025 right here on DRF.com.